Hey designers, and welcome to Transformation Tuesday. So how did you guys do last week? Did you get up and get moving? If you're down here in the South where we are, then you probably didn't have much of a chance to do any moving at all. You might have been cramped away inside of a shelter, or who knows, because it was quite an interesting week for all of us with Matthew hanging around. At any rate, we did talk last week about the importance of getting moving. So I want to hear from you. How did you do? Did you get any extra exercise in at all? What about those muscles? Did you get a chance to work them out and start to get them toning? I hope that you did, because it is so very important for a healthy lifestyle. Today we're going to take just a few minutes to talk about our number one enemy when it comes to healthy choices. And I know you're probably thinking that yourself is your number one enemy. But I'm not talking about a person. I am talking about a thing, something that consumes a lot of our thoughts and gets us in big trouble. And just what is that, you might ask? It's sugar. That's right. The number one enemy to anybody who is wanting a healthier lifestyle. I don't know about you, but I could eat sugar all day, every day. And I have a little confession. I pretty much do, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this issue, to encourage us all to get motivated together to make some lifestyle changes. Sugar is very dangerous for us, and it is not really something we should be consuming at all, especially not in the magnitude that we do. And one of the things that surprised me was that when I really started watching the sugar I was consuming, how many things actually have sugar in it. Things you would never think would have sugar. Just about every type of processed food you can imagine. Things like ravioli or SpaghettiOs, salad dressings, even condiments like ketchup and steak sauce have sugar inside. Now you have to be very careful when you're checking those labels, because not all sugar is just called sugar. They try to get a little bit conniving on us, to hide the words a little bit, to fool us into thinking we're not eating something that is super unhealthy. But we definitely are. You need to look for words like fructose or high fructose corn syrup, just regular old corn syrup, maltodextrose, dextrose, sucralose. Almost anything that ends with an ose is going to have some kind of sugar. And you also must stop the artificial sugars, which are worse for you and practically pure poison. Things like sweet and low or equal, they are dangerous for you guys. They are not in any way a healthier choice for a sweetened substance. No, as a matter of fact, the aspartame that is in most of those artificial sweeteners has even been linked to increasing epileptic seizures. That's right. Some of the physical issues that we are feeling are due to our sugar intake or the artificial sugar. So we have got to stop this. As a matter of fact, sugar is the number one thing that feeds yeast. We have already talked about yeast on a previous Transformation Tuesday and just how dangerous it is when it gets out of balance and begins to overtake the good bacteria that should already be in your gut flora. Yeast feeds on sugar. So the more sugar that you are consuming, the greater chance you have of yeast overgrowth. And when yeast overgrowth happens, you have all kinds of symptoms like mental fatigue, unclear thoughts, or mental fog as they call it, where you can't concentrate anymore, hyperactivity, the jitters, sleeplessness, insomnia, aching in your muscles and your joint pain, All of those kind of things can be directly linked to yeast overgrowth or an overconsumption of sugar. If you're experiencing any of that, things like chronic fatigue and even some instances of lupus are even exacerbated by high amounts of sugar intake. It is incredibly dangerous to consume as much sugar as the average American consumes. And the sad thing about it is we're consuming more than we think we are because it is literally in almost every food we buy. And we just haven't known it. You have to get in a habit of reading those labels, you guys, because it is very important that you know what you're putting in your body. Now, here's the thing. Your body does actually need a healthy amount of sugar because your brain and your eyes feed on sugar. To reduce all sugar and never consume any more of it would be actually a very dangerous thing to do. But your sugar intake should be from very healthy choices like fruit and vegetables. And you can also use sweeteners such as honey or agave nectar, or you can even use stevia, which is one of the most purest, most natural ways of consuming a sweetener. And it is super delicious in smoothies or in hot cocoa. Just about anything you need sweetened can use these type of sweeteners instead of regular table sugar. Because some fruits, such as bananas, are very high in natural fructose, which is a fruit sugar, you have to be careful how much of that you are consuming every day. The bulk of your diet really should be from your green leafy vegetables and some of the starchy vegetables, but you even have to be careful there because things like corn, peas, and potatoes can also turn into sugar once inside your system. The natural glucose that is found in these type of vegetables converts into sugar, and hence another reason why it is very easy for you to get your daily sugar needs automatically met when you're eating the healthy, right foods. You really don't need added sugar at all to make sure that you're getting the proper amount for that brain of yours and those eyes. When we consume too much sugar, we can quickly wear out our adrenals, and our adrenals are what keeps the insulin level optimal. We don't want to get ourselves in trouble with a slow metabolism or a decreased insulin production, because then we're going to be in big trouble. The insulin in our blood is actually what helps that sugar go to all of the cells and be utilized in the proper way to give us the optimal energy that we need to function every day. So when our insulin gets out of balance and it's not being produced to its optimum level, we can find ourselves in big trouble. Hence the reason why a lot of us will feel that sugar drop about mid-afternoon when we are used to consuming a lot of sugar at breakfast through our cereals or pancake syrups or different things like that. Before you know it, and before lunch can even roll around, we are ready to crawl back in the bed. And more often than not, it's not because of a lack of sleep the night before, it's simply because of what we have consumed early in the day. Then naturally at lunchtime we think we need that huge pick-me-up, but the problem with that is when we consume more sugar at lunchtime to try to get us pepped up and to give us that shot of adrenaline going, we find ourselves quickly crashing around 2 to 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we pretty much drag ourselves home from work. This is the cycle that we have to stop, you guys. It is much better to eat smaller meals throughout the day that are very high in protein content and the right type of good carbohydrates than to load ourselves up on sugar. This will ensure that our blood sugars stay level throughout the day and we won't feel the need to have to run for a sugar rush. So I want to challenge you guys this week. If you think back to when you were kids or when you had small children still at home, you know what effect sugar has on you almost right away. It gets you hyper and it gets you going really quickly. But it's not long before you dive into a low crash, and too much of that up and down will eventually wear out your pancreas and other vital organs that keep your insulin and your adrenaline at its proper levels, along with other hormones that are mixed in there too. So I want to challenge you this week to start cutting out the sugar. Read those labels, because everything from salad dressings to canned vegetables can contain sugar, so you need to be very careful on what you are purchasing. Make it a habit. Look for those words that we mentioned earlier so that you're not buying products with the extra sugar added in. To have a healthy amount of sugar every day, make sure you're eating the proper fruit and vegetables that will naturally turn into glucose in your system. And I can guarantee you, your body will love you for that. It'll take that sugar and turn it into the right energy that you need, and it will keep your pancreas, your liver, all functioning properly to keep your insulin and your adrenals at their optimum levels. So let's do it together, you guys. Let's start decreasing the sugar. And I know it's going to be hard this time of year, because if you're anything like me, all of the best candies are rolling out in the store right now for Halloween, and then again at Christmas. And come to think of it, not too far on the heels of that is Valentine's Day, quickly followed by Easter. So we have challenges really all year long, but together we can do this thing. We can get ourselves in better shape, get better health rolling here, and before long we're going to start feeling better, not only physically but even emotionally. And some of us might finally be able to think a little clearer and remember things a little bit better. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in today. We will take this week and we will challenge on together. I want to thank you for watching. I will see you soon in the next video.